I have an inherited disease. It's called polycystic kidneys. I got diagnosed when I was in law school back in the 70s. You know, I've known that at some point my kidneys were going to fail. Kind of hoped I'd get a little older than this before it happened. My kidney function had gotten down to less than 20%. I was at the point where we had to do something. I didn't let myself accept the reality that that's how far things had gotten.
We knew from the time he was in his 20s that he was going to someday need a transplant. When he told me that it was time for the transplant, I was scared. I knew our lives were going to be changed forever.
When I got on the transplant list, I mean, they tell you to do whatever you can to let people know. And I'm pretty private about that kind of stuff, so I didn't like that idea. But I just started telling friends that I was on the list, and that's really all I said. And I was kind of amazed at the reaction. Chris and I, well, he was one of my students when I was an adjunct professor at Wake Forest.
I signed up for his class. He was a great professor. Students loved him. He was fun to be around. He brought a real practical aspect of practicing law into the classroom, which we didn't get a lot in law school.
He was a pretty good student. I taught there over 20 years, and he was one of the people that stood out.
And when I graduated, we stayed in touch. We talked often, and as I started to build my practice, he was always very interested and very supportive, and he would try to refer me clients that he knew I could help.
He and I have been working on a post-conviction work for a guy on death row, and I asked Chris to co-counsel that with me. So we'd been spending a little more time together, and we had a meeting over here about that case and what we were going to do in it. And at the end of that meeting, I said, well, I need to tell you something because it may affect work on this case, that I just got put on the transplant list, and you know, I'm subject to being called at any time, and I may be going on dialysis unless I can get a kidney. And Chris's first reaction was, I'll give you one.
So we came home and he said, I had lunch with Dave Pishko today. He said he needs a kidney, and I told him I'd give him my kidney. What do you think about that? And I thought, well, you already told him you're going to give him your kidney, so okay, well, let's give him your kidney. What do we need to do? I have to say I wasn't really surprised. I was a lot more surprised when he was a match, but I was not surprised that he wanted to do it if he could.
I was just blown away. I mean, I just couldn't imagine anybody being willing to do that. And I remember going home and telling Mary Jane, and she just, she started crying. I mean, what Chris has done, I mean, when I step back and look at it, and I love lawyers and I love trial lawyers, and I think, he did what we do. I mean, you see somebody who's got a serious problem and you do what you can to help them. And this was obviously way beyond what we normally do, but he's a criminal defense lawyer. He sees people in desperate situations every day, and his instinct is to dive in and see what he can do to help him out of that fix. And that was his immediate instinct. I'll never know how to repay him, but whatever he needs, I'll do.
To look at Dave now and see him healthy and happy, it feels like a really special thing, and I'm proud that I did it. It's a privilege to be able to do it and to see how well the Pishkos are doing now. I tell everybody I'm glad I did it, I'm glad it's over, and life goes on.